Hello everyone and welcome back. Now knowing that cavalry is a big strength against my Katana Core, I decided to start bringing fire rockets, and boy are they effective. I'm really glad I started doing that. I no longer go with my Katana Core without them. So let's look at the setup. Of course I brought a fire rocket, and then let's look at my cavalry, kind of interesting. I have two Yari cavalry, both veterans, and then look at this veteran light cavalry. I decided to start bringing a light cavalry veteran, and I upgraded them kind of uniquely. I have two of them actually. One is called the fishsandwichpatrol. That's kind of funny. But they have speed and spotting upgrades, and that's it. So they're just going to be ambush patrol. It's a great thing to do. I always forget to do it, and sometimes it ends up screwing me when like a great guard ambush comes out and I haven't really accounted for it, and sometimes I lose like that. So I have this light cavalry who all they're going to do is just run around looking for ambushes. Might as well in the early game. So let's look at my Katana Core, 6 Katana Samurai, 4 of them veterans. 2 Yari Samurai, both veterans, 2 Bow Ashigaru, both veterans, and a veteran Matchlock Ashigaru. Now on the other side, he's in the forest. I'll talk about him in a second, because I want to talk about the terrain real quick. Now I chose to start on this side with just the one building, for 2 reasons. 1, the workshop is awesome, and 2, I wanted plenty of room to use my fire rockets. I figured he would start on the side with 2 buildings. It's normally a good bet, you know, 2 buildings is better than 1. So I disagree because the workshop is better than both of those 2 combined, in my opinion. And also, I'm just going to be able to have a nice little offensive here. This is actually a really good spot for me to attack, and I guess I'll get to that in a little bit. So let's talk about his force. No cavalry, that's right. The ambush patrol is going to look for cavalry, won't find any, so I know he doesn't have any hidden siege units, no hidden cavalry. I'll have no threats to my missile units, except this one Matchlock Warrior Monk. Where is he? Here he is, he's back here. So that's all he has to deal with ranged threats. So I'm going to be able to use my fire rockets very aggressively and just walk up and be able to shoot at his general. And he'll have no way to stop it. And some people might think that's cheap, you know, using siege weapons to snipe generals. But it isn't, because, look, first of all, sniping with siege weapons can be countered. And you can deal with it. It is maybe a little cheap. But second of all, you have to have ways to deal with it. If you're bringing an army that's all infantry, you take a risk. And that risk could be the guys a fire rocket can snipe your general. So it's just a bad idea to look at, take an army that's not balanced. Let's take a look now that he's all out in the open. He's got, let's see, 2 Katana Samurai, 3 Katana Samurai. Yep, 4 Katana Samurai, 4 Katanas, 2 Nodachis, 1, 2 Lone Swords. It's all jumbled up. 4 Yari Ashigaru and 2 Naginata Samurai, along with the Matchlock Warrior Monk. So, huge infantry build. This is going to allow me to use my fire rockets very aggressively. I can basically just walk up with my fire rockets unsupported and shoot into his general. No problem. Since he does have sort of an infantry advantage here, I'm going to need any kind of support that I can, and taking out his general is a big boost. So look at my cavalry hidden up here. They'll be very important. It's always good to hide your cavalry in the beginning, just in case you have a good ambush. And in this battle I have an extremely good ambush, so that turned out to be a very good idea. So here's the ambush patrol. They're just patrolling the forest around the guy's spawn, looking for any kind of scary surprises like great guards or anything like that. So he's going to set up camp here on the sword dojo and the shrine. And the good thing about having a ranged advantage, I said that it was the weakest of the 3, and that's true, and at least in terms of they need the most support. But ranged advantages can be very, very good because you can force the enemy to attack you when you're in a strong position, and maybe let him have a disorganized attack, which is how he's going to do it. It's going to be very good for me. My infantry is going to be very able to handle it. So here we are capturing the workshop. I'll triple speed it because nothing's really happening. And another good thing about fire rockets is if you've taken out their cavalry or killed their general and you have nothing else to fire at, you can shoot at buildings. And a little later you'll see some fire rockets hit the sword dojo and destroy it, and you'll lose that bonus. So my infantry, is going to have a huge defensive bonus because they'll have the +3 from the workshop, plus their veterancy, and he won't have the workshop anymore. So fire rocket's just a great unit. Now I started moving up to attack. I didn't quite have the workshop yet though. Oops. I thought I had captured it, but not quite. So I'm going to send a katana back here in just a second to finish that up. There we go. So cavalry is still waiting patiently. The only ranged threat is that matchlock, so I'm going to try and use my cavalry to kill the matchlock and the general. Now notice where I'm going to attack from. I'm coming around the south side. I think it's pretty obvious why. I'm going to draw all of his infantry into the infantry battle here in the water. And then he'll have nothing covering his back, and my Yari cavalry can just run up and hit his warrior monks and his general. Turned out to work just as planned. It's pretty rare when you have such just a well-executed, well-planned battle like this one, so I'm very happy with this result. Okay, so here come the fire rockets up in the front. They're going to start shooting at the general. I don't know if he was expecting it yet, or maybe he underestimated fire rockets. But I'm going to come and get a nice shot at his general. But due to the angle, I don't really kill too many in the first like 3 volleys, but one of them does good damage. So here we go, a veteran 4 chevron fire rockets. And here we go, first volley. Not a bad shot, all things considered. Only killed 3 of them. A little disappointed in the first volley, but hey, what can you do? So now he knows he can't just sit in camp. I have fire rockets, I have bows. I'm going to be able to just tear him down at range. So he has to attack me. So I get him to go in a very disorganized attack. And I'll talk about that in a second. Did I hit the sword dojo at this point? Maybe it was a little later. So here he comes. Now watch how I'm going to respond to this attack. I'm not going to rush everybody here at this Naginata. I really like to keep as many people as possible on reserve. It's always a good idea to have reserves, because you don't want to be caught off guard and having to deal with a threat that you didn't anticipate. So when the Naginata is coming up, look how disorganized this attack is. He was in a hurry, and not surprising. So I'm just going to send 1 Katana Samurai up to hit this Naginata. Just tie him down. Here we go. This volley hits the sword dojo and the general. So sword dojo is on fire, taking damage over time. It will be destroyed and he'll lose that bonus. So here I am, just absorbing the Naginata. It's already down 20 men. Got a nice little charge off with my katanas, and the bows are hitting them. I will also shortly be moving my matchlocks over here to get a nice angle into the mass. And, even caught me off guard. My cavalry has moved from the forest and is hitting the warrior monks. They didn't get a single shot off. These veteran warrior monks completely wasted because they had no protection, no cavalry, drew all his infantry away. It was an unbalanced army. So I'm going to send another one up just to hold down just as much as I need. Don't use all your force at once if you don't have to. Sometimes it's good to tie down all the enemy at once. Sometimes you just want to keep your reserves up. So I'm going to use rally on my general at that point. I'll just be moving as necessary. My other Yari cavalry has hit the enemy general, will kill him. There he goes, he's dead. And wow, battle's firmly in my control. Light cavalry, having outlived their usefulness, will now just run in and get a nice little charge off. And so now the Yari cavalry is just going to be kind of fighting in the back just to get the morale penalty for having units behind them, especially for the Ashigaru. And we're going to see wavering all over. My matchlocks were a little late to move. I was kind of worried about other things though. They're going to be moving into position to shoot into the mass, and the fire rockets are going to be shooting shortly too. And you'll see a lot of wavering when they shoot into the infantry. Even though they're in water so that they don't explode when they hit the water, it's still going to do morale damage. You'll see a lot of wavering happen when they do their shot, even though it hardly kills anybody, and they don't even explode. So you look at the cavalry, not doing too well in melee, but getting the serious morale penalties for having units behind them. Here we go. Fire rockets in the middle. Now look at all this wavering. Light cavalry's pulling back. The katanas on the wings that I had in reserve are now coming in to hit from the side. Battle's basically over. Yari samurai didn't even engage. They didn't even need them. And now it's just a matter of cutting him down. He will concede here in a second. I didn't get to kill them all. Wish I would have. There we go. I wish I could have killed them all for the veteran experience, but okay. So there you go, fire rockets. Great for an attacking setup. I love it. I will never use my Katana Core without them again. That was awesome. It just gives you so much deterrence, because cavalry, you saw in my other videos when cavalry would just come and mess with me. And I consider myself pretty good with spear micromanagement, but hey, why not bring a fire rocket and just really just ward off that cavalry? Works really well. Or hit their general. He had no way to respond to my fire rockets, so it was just open season on his general for my fire rockets. Goes to show you don't want to just spam infantry like that. I wouldn't call that guy a spammer necessarily, but spam tactics will lose to real tactics anytime. Gotta have the balanced army deal with any threat that can come to you. Because if you don't have an army that can deal with every threat, you're basically just rolling the dice, and you can decide by the start of the battle and say, oh, I've won this battle, my setup is better. Who wants to play like that? You know, bring an army that can respond to anything, and have a realistic chance of winning every battle. That's where the true strategy comes through, and it's a lot more rewarding. So, thanks a lot, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my fire rockets as much as I did. And all you katana people out there, hey, fire rockets. Just a suggestion. See you on the battlefield.